Cape Hatteras Lighthouse was moved 2,900 feet in 1999. That part is public record. Engineers lifted the tower, placed it on a system of steel supports and carried it inland to protect it from the Atlantic. Last October it moved again. No cranes, no crew, no witnesses. Just 11 inches closer to the ocean between midnight and sunrise. My name is Caleb Reed. I am a licensed surveyor, and I was hired to verify control points around the light station near Buxton, North Carolina. The work was routine. Check the monuments, compare current coordinates with the preservation drawings, and flag anything that needed a second look. At 6:12 on my first morning, my receiver showed the center of the tower 11.3 inches southeast of its recorded position. I blamed the satellite correction. I reset the unit, checked the tripod, and measured again. Same result. The reference monuments had not moved. The keeper's quarters had not moved. The concrete path had not moved. Only the lighthouse was wrong. By 7:30, the coordinate returned to normal. I deleted the first observation as bad data. The next morning, it happened again. My field partner, Lena Ortiz, arrived before dawn on Wednesday with a second receiver and an optical total station. We established our own baseline away from the tower, then measured every fixed object we could see. The numbers agreed to within a fraction of an inch. At 2:13 in the morning, the total station rotated by itself. The motor made one slow correction and stopped with its telescope aimed past the lighthouse, across the dunes toward the beach. A distance appeared on the screen, 2,900 feet. Lena thought I had loaded an old stakeout file. I had not. We followed the line through wet grass until we reached a shallow depression beyond the protective fence. Historic photographs later confirmed what the instrument already knew. We were standing near the lighthouse's former site. Someone had driven a fresh wooden survey stake into the sand. A strip of orange flagging was tied around it, clean and bright despite the salt wind. Written on the flag in black marker were our initials, CR and LO. Beneath them was tomorrow's date. Lena pulled the stake out. The hole underneath was not filled with sand. It was perfectly round, lined with old black brick and deeper than either of our flashlights could reach. From somewhere below came the steady scrape of something heavy moving over steel. We reported the hole as a safety hazard and marked the area closed. I did not mention the scraping. I also did not mention that the wooden stake was back in the ground when we returned after breakfast. This time, the orange flag carried only 3 words: "Close the line." We should have left. Instead, I set the total station over the old coordinate and aimed it at the present lighthouse. Surveyors call that a backsight. You use a known point to establish direction. The instant the telescope found the tower, every display on our equipment changed to the same bearing. A thin amber line appeared on each map screen, running from the former site through the current tower and continuing west across Hatteras Island. It crossed Highway 12, passed through Buxton Woods and ended beyond the edge of the map. Then the lighthouse flashed. The beam should have swept the water. In the telescope, it turned inland and traveled directly along the amber line. Porch lights went dark in sequence behind the dunes, one then another moving west. Lena lowered her binoculars and said she could see people standing beside the road. I saw only pale vertical shapes, too narrow to be people and too still to be grass. When the beam reached them, they leaned toward us together. At sunrise, the line vanished. The hole at the old coordinate was 11 inches wider. The visitor center kept copies of relocation drawings, newspaper clippings, and contractor records. Most of them described exactly what the public already knows. The tower was separated from its foundation, supported on steel, and moved inland over 23 days. In a box of uncatalogued field notes, Lena found a yellow survey book with no name on the cover. The final pages were dated June 1999. The writer described a circular cavity beneath the old foundation, faced with brick that did not match the lighthouse. Each night, Reference stakes shifted toward that cavity. Each morning, the crew replaced them and blamed wind, vibration, or tired men working long hours. Then came a sentence underlined twice. The tower is not being moved away from the sea. It is being moved off the mark. The next page contained a hand-drawn line from the original foundation to the relocation site. West of the new position, the line broke into dozens of branching streets. Beside it, the writer had added a warning. Never measure the two positions after midnight. A survey does more than describe a path. It establishes one. Lena closed the book and asked who had written it. The archive inventory listed no survey book. When we looked again, the cardboard box was empty. The book remained in Lena's hands, but its pages had become wet. Salt water ran from the binding onto the floor. We returned to the beach before midnight to remove our equipment and destroy the line we had created. The tide was low, but water covered the old coordinate in a circle 40 feet across. Beyond it, the Atlantic was calm. No whitecaps, no gulls. Even the wind had stopped. At 2:13, the water inside the circle began to rotate. The black brick rim rose through the sand, followed by the outline of a foundation that had been gone for more than 20 years. Then a second lighthouse appeared above it, not all at once. First, the white sections of the spiral hanging in the air like strips of fog, then the black bands, then windows glowing from inside. It was the same tower, standing at its former site and at its current site at the same time. Our total station began recording distances without being touched. 2,899 feet, 2,898. The distance was shrinking. The duplicate tower was moving inland, one measured foot at a time. Lena walked toward it. I grabbed her jacket, but she fought me without looking back. She said someone in the lantern room was signaling her by name. I saw a figure behind the glass, circling with the light. Every time the beam crossed us, Lena took another step. Behind us, the real lighthouse answered. Its beam turned away from the ocean and locked onto the duplicate. The amber survey line ignited between them, bright enough to cast shadows across the dunes. The warning in the survey book finally made sense. We had used the old position as a backsight. We had given whatever occupied it a direction, a distance, and a verified path inland. I could not move the lighthouse, but I could make the line invalid. I kicked the tripod over. The instrument struck the sand and kept measuring from its side. I smashed the receiver against the black brick. Its screen cracked, yet the amber line remained. Lena was knee-deep in the rotating water when I saw the wooden stake with our initials. It stood at the center of the old foundation directly beneath the duplicate tower. I wrapped the truck's recovery strap around it, locked the other end to the hitch, and drove toward the road. For several seconds, nothing moved. Then the stake tore free. The hole beneath it opened with a sound like a ship's hull splitting underwater. The amber line snapped. Every porch light west of us came on at once. Lena collapsed onto dry sand. The duplicate lighthouse leaned toward the ocean, stretched into a column of white fog, and was pulled down through the foundation. The real lighthouse swept the sea again. Our equipment went dark. By sunrise, the old site was ordinary beach. No black brick, no circular water, no stake. The lighthouse measured exactly where the official drawings placed it. Lena and I agreed to report a corrupted receiver, damaged equipment, and nothing more. Then I found the final observation saved on the broken unit. It showed the lighthouse in its correct position. The coastline was the thing that had moved, 11 inches inland. The official inspection found no movement in the tower and no structural damage. Our contract was closed. Lena left surveying and would not answer my calls after Christmas. I moved inland to Raleigh and tried to believe distance mattered. 3 weeks ago, I found an orange survey flag beside my driveway. CR was written on one side. On the other was a bearing aimed southeast. I checked my property corners because that is what surveyors do when they are frightened. We measure. My eastern boundary was 11 inches closer than it had been the year before. The next night, it moved another 11. At 2:13 this morning, a white beam crossed my bedroom wall. It came from the direction of the coast, but there was no light outside. Only the shadow of a black and white spiral turning slowly across the houses on my street. I understand the old warning now. Moving Cape Hatteras Lighthouse did not end anything. It only broke one straight path. Lena and I established another, and pulling the stake did not destroy it. It transferred the Backsight to the last verified point. My instrument, my name, my home. If you see a fresh orange flag on your property, do not follow its bearing. Do not measure the distance. Cape Hatteras moved again last night. This time it moved toward me.